All right. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Rivals 2. This is going to be the first in a series of videos about the defensive and offensive techniques that are important in Rivals 2. And this first one is going to be about shield dropping. If you have never played Platform Fighter, or if you have only played Ultimate, there is a very high likelihood that you just don't know what a shield drop is. And so we're going to be covering that idea here. So what is a shield drop? That is a shield drop. A shield drop is, while blocking, going through the platform. Simple as that, right? Like, oh yeah, you hold down, you go through the platform. Well, if you press shield and down, you get a spot dodge. So how do you actually do this? You get 3 different ways to input a shield drop in this game. And the first one is the old-fashioned way. You either press downward directly or diagonally to the right or diagonally to the left, or slowly pressing down, and you will get a shield drop. The diagonal inputs are the most consistent, but you can train yourself to be able to input the directly down shield drop as well. Like, that's something you can definitely practice. But that's sort of how you would input it if you were playing a game like Melee, right? And it's nice that it's present in this game, but if you're new to shield dropping, it might be a little tricky to actually pull it off. So they give you some shortcuts. Method number 2 is the double shield method. So right now, my Z button and my R button are both set to shield. You can see down there in the input on the input reader. While holding both of these, I cannot input left and right. I will not get a roll. Typically, you would get a roll to the left or a roll to the right if you're just holding shield, but while double shielding, you don't. Also, while double shielding, you always get a shield drop. Doesn't matter how fast you press down, doesn't matter how you press down in whatever direction, you will always get a shield drop. And it lets you actually get full drift shield drops as well, which is, like, honestly really tricky. Very consistent method. It's what I would recommend in a vacuum, but the issue is you need to have 2 shield buttons mapped. And real estate on the GameCube controller is a little slim. It's kind of hard to justify turning that Z button into a shield, or like the L button into a shield, as well as the R button. But if you feel comfortable doing it and want to do that, or if you're playing on a controller that has more shoulder buttons, like a PlayStation 4 or like a Switch Pro controller, you should 100% use this method. This is the most consistent shield drop method in the game. But it's not the only other one, right? There's a third method, and this method is less consistent, but it is very easy to access, and this is the drop shield method. So instead of just holding shield and pressing down, right, what I'm doing is I'm letting go of shield and I'm pressing down. The release shield input, or the release of the shield input, during the time where your character is, doing this little animation here, if you press down, you'll go through the platform. Every single time. However, it has its fair share of issues, as we just saw. If you're not fast enough releasing the button, you'll get a spot dodge. If you're, like, not 100% precise with that, and you don't input, like, a good enough shield drop just in general, you're going to get that spot dodge, and that might not be something you want. But you cannot deny the ease of access that this method gives. Like, you don't need any certain buttons mapped. You don't even really need to time your downward input. You just need to release the button and drop down. So if you're new to shield dropping, that is definitely a good method to use, but I really would recommend learning the like getting familiar with holding diagonal. Just because it's more consistent if you can train yourself to make use of that. So that's great and all, right? Like, that's how you input a shield drop. And if that's all you're looking for, I'll see you next time. But, like, what's the deal? Who cares? Like why do you need to be able to shield drop? Well, if you're an Ultimate player, I'm sure you're very familiar with the concept of this situation. Like, just somebody mashing under the platform, pressuring your shield, and there's nowhere to go. Because you have to either jump, like, you're either going to jump out of shield and go to the top platform, or you're going to drop shield and dash off. Which are both very slow in that game. In this game, that little scenario, that up tilt mash scenario, becomes, instead of a reset, if I'm not garbage here, it becomes a punish. You get to actually, get a little bit of mileage off of your shield drop, as opposed to having to deal with, just retaking stage control and getting off of the platforms. That's sort of the defensive application. The offensive application, of course, is just like look how quickly I can get down here. You know, like if I'm dropping shield and dashing, like drop shield dash isn't even like an easy input to do, as I keep getting walk, right? Like this is a very quick way to get down to the bottom level of any given thing, and it lets you move really quickly. In addition, if you're on the top platform, you know, lets you set up for a waveland on these platforms. I have to forgive my lacking wavelands here. I am still an ultimate player. Wave landing and wave dashing and all of that is something that we are going to go over more in depth in another video. But right now, I really did just want to go over shield dropping and being able to actually do that as often as possible. It is very, very core to defense in this game. If people misspace things on your block while you are blocking on a platform, you will often get a free punish. You like if you're playing a character like Rano or Clarin, or God forbid you're playing Locks, you have massive hitboxes that you can take advantage of if somebody misspaces on your block. Or just does a high enough aerial on your shield, right? Like you don't have to jump. You can drop through and you can get your air move. So yeah, that's shield dropping. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.